Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. We shall be accompanied by the woodpecker who's climbed the chimney, the metal chimney. We're also going to be accompanied by Bindi, I think. And if you hear a lion sound during class, it's her purring close to the microphone. Okay, let's take a comfortable seat and get started. I'm so glad to be with you. This morning practice is really important for us as a community, for us as individuals, and for our greater world. This morning practice. Can you not put your tail in my tea? It's gonna be all right, honey. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. All is well. It's only a woodpecker. It's not even a dog. Yeah. Okay, so our topic this week in the yamas and niyamas, our focus is on Santosa, which means contentment. And that is often misunderstood. Let me place it in the context of the yamas and niyamas, because for those of us who are very interested in yoga for transformation, or take it another step, yoga for societal change, because the yamas and niyamas actually are about how we live together in community, how we live together in society. So if this is your interest and you hear the teachings on Santosa, contentment, it can be a little bit confusing. Like, understandably, contentment with what we have and what we don't have. So we become less susceptible to merchant culture or to consumerism. That can make sense to us, that kind of contentment. But when it comes to being content with ourselves while we're in a journey of transformation, how do we relax into being content with the development we've had so far? Should we not be somehow pressuring ourselves to keep transforming? So in this particular regard, I would suggest that contentment is a quality like appreciation and confidence, appreciating that you are on the path, you have progress, and you have confidence that it will continue with an inner quality, an attitude that's practicing all the yamas and niyamas. But this one for contentment is saying, I want to stabilize where I am. I don't want to add pressure to transform faster, and then by adding that pressure, actually cause myself to break down or to regress. So that's one way to look at the teachings of Santosa. And the second thing to understand is that Santosa precedes tapas, discipline. The steady aim of discipline is going to come next in the yamas and niyamas. So it's kind of cultivating an internal felt sense that we have confidence in ourselves, we appreciate what we have done, the progress we have had, and we aren't in a hungry ghost mentality, needing to consume more or acquire more, or to somehow improve that which is already fundamentally whole and graceful and worthwhile. And yet, tapas is going to help us to improve who we are and how we're practicing and applying yoga to our lives. So in that context, I hope it's helpful. Let's take a time to sit quietly and comfortably together, and then we will proceed. So you can rest your hands in your lap, your eyes closed. And see if you can connect to the quality of Santosa that is not needing something more and not needing things to be different. Contentment is not a synonym for apathy. Bring in the Ujjayi breath. Use the subtle form of the sound of the breath, which you'll hear in the inner ear. Let the breath remind you of all the stepping stones in the yamas and the niyamas preceding Santosa. Your development includes all of those skills or commitments. Please raise your hands to your heart. Chant Asatoma Satgamaya. Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. As you're ready to, you can release your hands. Open your eyes. So we're going to proceed into pranayama. So starting with Bastrika, a strong exhale using the solar plexus. The exhale goes out the mouth. Then we'll go to Kapalabhati using both nostrils, also using the solar plexus for that more rapid exhalation. And then we'll be doing one nostril at a time, Kapalabhati. And then we'll kind of reconvene at that moment and see how things are feeling. So sitting upright, round one for Bastrika. Exhale. Inhale up to suspension. Release the exhale in your own timing. Get round, a little more brisk. Exhale. Exhale. And release in your own timing. The body, both nostrils. Exhale. Inhale to suspend. In your own timing. Bring your right hand up. We'll go left, right, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 8, and so on until we're down to 1. Inhale. Inhale both nostrils up to suspension. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale both up to suspension. Close the left, exhale right. Relax. Back and interlace your fingers, please. Roll the shoulders open. Squeeze the arms back towards the wall behind you. And check and see if you can put your knuckles on something, the floor, a block, a blanket, and raise the chest and heart up. Inhale, raise up. And as you come forward, check and see if you need something for your head, a blanket, a block, your kitten. And then once you know what your needs are, come up to sitting and let's place what you need in position. So I'll need a medium block for in front of me, and I will benefit from a flat block behind me. Okay. Interlace the fingers. When you take the arms back, now put your knuckles on the block, the blanket, or the floor behind you. Inhale to go up. Exhale, glide forward. Inhale, raise the arms up behind you. Exhale, rise up to your starting seat. Inhale, raise your chest, your heart, open your throat. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, raise the arms up behind you. Exhale, up to your seat. Inhale, raise up, open your heart and your throat. And then exhale, relax your hands in your lap. So we're going to include now the lion's breath exhale when the throat is open like that in the arm behind you position. And in doing that, I want you to stick the tongue out. It's a long muscle. It's not just what you can see in your mouth. So the tongue goes out, open the eyes big, look up behind your eyebrows, and you make a hissing sound. We'll see how well Bindi tolerates this. Okay, so inhale, raise up, press into your knuckles. Lion's exhale. More. Then inhale, come up and over. Exhale, touch your forehead down. Inhale, raise the arms up behind you. And exhale, tone the low belly, rise up to your seat, rest your hands in your lap. Let's bring that up to standing. So in lion's breath, you can think about the lion actually as representing, pardon me for that noise, representing, we're kind of scaring away things. So we're asking unhelpful mind patterns or unhelpful thoughts or unhelpful tendencies to move away. We're in the jungle, we're saying, no, you can't have me. We're in the jungle of the mind, but we're saying, nope, that mental pattern cannot take me over. So one of those mental patterns when it comes to Santosa is the mental pattern of wanting more, of never feeling satisfied. That is called the pattern of the hungry ghosts. The hungry ghosts have open mouths and their mouths can never be satisfied. Their mouths never close. They don't ever feel satiated. So in the realm of the hungry ghosts, a book by my one of my mentors and teachers, Gabor Mate, he's referring to those hungry ghosts that are never satisfied. So lion's breath is like that. Reach back and interlace your fingers. We're scaring away those mental patterns. We're deciding that they're not going to take us over. Interlace the fingers, and in this wide stance, come into a little back bend. So take the hips forward, raise up through your chest and your heart, open the throat. Breathe in. And then exhale, lion's breath. Again, breathe in. One more. And then inhale, raise your chest and heart up. And on the exhale, pour yourself forward and down, Prasarita Padottanasana. If possible, bring your arms overhead, reaching towards whatever is the front of your room. And then as you inhale, glide your heart forward, and you can gaze forward. And exhale for a deep bow towards your legs. Squeeze the breath out using the Ujjayi breath now. Again, inhale, glide forward. And exhale for a deep bow towards the legs. One more time, inhale, glide forward. And exhale to deeply bow. Release the clasp of your hands. And as you place your hands down near your feet, you might notice that there's a little extra circulation coming down the arms. Your hands and fingers might get warmer. They might even tingle a little bit. And then raise your hands up to your hips. Rise up to standing. Turn your heels in, toes out. Come down to the jazz dance warm-up pose. Okay, and in this position, as you press out against the knees, root the tailbone and don't overarch the lower back, please. And then as you inhale, raise your right heel up high. Exhale, lower that one down. Inhale, raise the left. Exhale, lower that down. Notice what happens in the pelvic floor when you inhale, raise the right heel. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. Keep the elbows straight. Exhale, lower. Inhale, both. And exhale, lower. Now rise up to stand. And exhale, release the arms, turn your toes in, toes, heels, come to mountain pose. And then step to the front of your yoga mat for surya namaskar. Watching out for important obstacles along the way. I'll just take this spot over here, Bindi. Okay, so come up to mountain pose. Bring your hands together at your heart. Raise up through the crown of your skull. Bring yourself into the Ujjayi breath now. So a determination to protect your Santosa is also that which you are saying no to, that which can't take over for your mind. With your inhale, sweep the hands down, raise up on your toes, lift up and look up. Exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Inhale, raise the heels high. Exhale, come down to squat. Heels and knees are lifted. Inhale, toe balance pose. Exhale, malasana with the heels and the knees lifted. Place your hands, inhale the legs to Uttanasana. And exhale, deeply bow, snuggle into the legs. Okay, inhale, glide your heart forward. And as you exhale, take the left toes back and your left knee down. Raise your right heel up. Okay, so this is a variation on anjaneyasa that we've been practicing. As you lift up, send your hips forward, tailbone down and forward. Keep the right heel lifted, also lift your gaze. Exhale, sweep the arms wide, open your chest, your heart, and your throat. Inhale, raise the arms up. And then exhale, bring your right heel to the floor, bring your torso forward. And place your hands on the blocks and inhale, step into plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. You might notice that your right leg has more circulation than your left leg. Exhale, left foot forward and right knee down, left heel up, anjaneyasana. Send the hips forward, tailbone down and forward. With your exhale, open the arms wide, clear out the windows of the mind. Inhale, raise your arms. And exhale, glide forward, touch the left heel down, reach over your left leg. Bow the weight of the head. You're squeezing into the lymph system for a few moments there, and then inhale, step to plank pose. And exhale, downward dog pose. Okay, let's inhale forward to plank. Exhale to the shape of seal pose. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, cobra pose. Glide forward and down with the heart. Slide the shoulders back. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, cobra. Inhale to seal pose. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, downward dog pose. And exhale, right foot forward, left foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms wide, tippy toe, rise up. Exhale, chair pose, heels down. Inhale, raise your heels in chair pose. Exhale, come down to squat. Inhale to the toe balance pose. Exhale, return to your squat. Heels are lifted, the knees are up towards the chest. And then place your hands on the blocks of the floor. Inhale, Uttanasana for the legs. And exhale, squeeze the lower belly. Inhale, glide forward with your heart. Okay, exhale, left toes straight back. Use the basic lunge this time. Inhale, rise up to your crescent. Hook the two thumbs together. Decide which thumb's going in the back position, which one's in front. And as you exhale, pull the elbows down and apart. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, down and wide. Inhale, raise the arms up. Keep your thumbs connected. And exhale once more, down and wide. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, sweep the arms wide. And as you touch the two blocks, put them both on the inside of the right ankle. Okay, tip the right knee and right foot out to the side. What I do here is I turn my right foot about 45 degrees, and then tipping out is easier. And when you tip out like that, keep the back leg lifted for right now. Tip the right knee open without falling over to the right. Notice the inner groin on the left side, right side, and the strength you're using in the arms should just feel like structurally supported, but the legs have a responsibility too. Now raise your right knee up to your shoulder. You can lift the heel to do that and pick up your right foot. Exhale backwards to plank pose. And then inhale, downward facing dog. Make the two blocks back into dog pose position, please. Exhale, left foot forward. This is the base of your lunge. Inhale, rise up to your crescent. Hook the other thumb behind. Inhale to reach up, and the exhale to pull down. So you're exercising the lymph in the armpits, the neck, the throat. Exhale, the elbows down and wide. Inhale, raise up. And once more, exhale down and wide. And last time, inhale, rise up. Okay, exhale, sweep the arms wide, keep the back leg steady, front leg stable. Place your 2 blocks on the inside of your left foot and open your left knee. So I turned my foot 45 degrees or so. And that means that when I open, you could be on the outside edge of your left foot. It should be a strong foot, not a wobbly ankle. In other words, you're tipping your hip open, not rolling your ankle. Back leg strong, so we're not rolling over to the left. And then you can raise your left knee up to your left shoulder, come onto your left tippy toe, and then pick up the left foot. And step back to plank pose and place the blocks for downward facing dog pose. Okay, inhale, roll forward plank. Exhale to seal, the shape of the seal pose. Inhale to raise up, open the throat. Exhale, cobra. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, cobra, bhujangasana. Inhale, seal pose. Exhale, plank. Okay, gaze down near your blocks, and from plank pose, bring the right foot up and across. Touch the shin down and come into an upright pigeon pose. We call this pigeon pose. It's a part of a pose called Ekapada Rajakapotasana. So walk the left leg back. Raise up with your heart. Open your throat if you can. I'm going to call this an upright version of pigeon pose because often this pose is taught with you bowing over the legs, which is a fine way to do it as well. We're going to do the open version right now. Now, if you're someone who, when you brought your right shin down and your right thigh to the floor, if you feel like you're tipping way over to the right, it could be helpful to put a blanket under your right hip. We want the hip to be centered, in other words. Okay, now let's glide forward. What I did there is I put my elbows on my blocks and I'm crossing my hands in the middle. So when I cross my wrists right there, I make a little pillow for my head. So in this pose, again, if you've supported the right hip, it should feel like you're centered. You're not tipping over to the right. And what can happen here is we're temporarily compressing the right hip and the right knee. So there's going to be a circulation release that comes after this pose. And to the extent that you're quite comfortable in the right hip and the left leg is stable behind you, raise back up with your torso. And then we make the transition by placing the hands firmly where you're going to need them to be for plank pose. Curl the back toes under, pick up the torso, take your right foot back, left foot back, and notice the temperature running down the right leg. And then inhale, reach back to downward facing dog pose. Yeah, let's come forward to plank. Gaze down between the 2 blocks and the wrists and bring your left foot up and across. And then as you glide back with the right leg, again, if you have the sense that you're going to tip over, if the hips feel wobbly or topply to the left, then put a blanket under your left hip. Lift up with the chest and the heart. You might feel your right hip flexors as well as your left hip, left outer hip, left inner groin. That's okay. The hip flexors on the right side are in an opening position, so you could welcome that. And then exhale and come forward. You could place the elbows on the blocks if you like, or you can go all the way down to the floor. Some of you are going to find that that's quite comfortable. Pose should not feel lazy, however. These are cleansing opportunities, and I don't always name it, but of course, all year round, a pose that adds compression like this is also a recirculation pose, a cleansing pose. So maybe reduce the ways in which the hungry ghost circulates in the mind and the body. When we balance our energy, may we experience a natural kind of contentment, not caught up in seeking, grasping, or clinging. So place your hands on your blocks again, and let's do the uplifted form of pigeon pose. And then prepare your blocks to step into plank pose. Raise the torso, press into your arms, step the left foot back, right foot back, plank pose, and notice the temperature moving down your left leg. And then inhale, raise your hips high to downward facing dog pose. And exhale, one foot forward, second foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Mountain pose. Encourage your body to stand at ease. You can sense the circulation going down the legs, really important for the springtime. Also want to sense circulation is being kind of renewed, right? It's spring, so we want this freshness of energy and circulation even in our own bodies. So let's take these two blocks now and come down. I'm going to recommend also that you reach for a couple of blankets, because a pose that we're going to do right now we have done recently, not in the last week, but about 2 weeks ago. And some of you are going to find that you need these blankets. So let's open one blanket long, like this. Do the same with a second blanket. Okay, there you are. So those two blankets are lengthwise. Now, we are going to put a block for some of you. It's going to go on the blankets. This is like a little discrepancy. Make sure your blankets are neat and organized. So some of you are going to want a blanket and a block, and then a second block as well. You're not going to know until you come down to the position. So what I'd like you to do is sit in Virasana. So you're sitting between the heels. So here, the heels are on the outsides of the hips. Sit down between your heels in Virasana. So imagine in Virasana, imagine that you're going to lie backwards gracefully. And then we call it supta Virasana. This is not an easy pose to do. And by the way, for anybody for whom this is a struggle or a challenge, if you have questions about your pelvis or your hips, those questions actually get answered in standing poses first. And then we look at it in these seated poses. These are more complicated because they're more fixed to the ground. The standing pose has more capacity to understand the architecture of the pelvis. And so on that note, let's see for who we are going to be able to walk down backwards. And as you're walking down, the elbows may come to the floor. The shins stay on the floor. And if you feel like, oh, well, that's a really big back bend, I can feel my lower back is bending a lot. The shoulders may or may not make it to the blankets. Then you're going to come up and you put one block on the flat setting for the shoulder blades, or it could be on the medium setting, depending on how much support you need. You take the second block, place it taller than the first block, and then the arms go overhead. And lo and behold, you don't have to be in discomfort to practice yoga. Now, if you are having difficulty with your pelvis, hips, hip flexors, all these things, I would recommend that you look into the upcoming series called Mechanics and Mindfulness, Yoga Mechanics and Mindfulness. It starts in April. Those series are going to be smaller and the teachers can give much more individualized attention. So I want to highly recommend that opportunity. Here in Supta Virasana, keep the shins grounded, press into the tops of your feet and toes. Lengthen your tailbone towards your knees. Make the lower spine long, so the amount of spinal extension is what you might consider almost neutral in the lumbar spine. You're not overdoing it. We want the heart to be open, but not that we're flaring the floating ribs. Now we're going to make a snow angel with the arms. Exhale, bring them down alongside the torso. Place your hands on your feet or near to your feet and press down to rise up to Virasana. Rest your hands in your lap. Bend the right knee up. And wrap your left hand around your right shin. Take your right hand behind you and twist to your right. As you practice the contentment, the Santosa of the present moment, if you can apply that right now to your physical practice, not needing things to be different, not grasping nor clinging, receiving with full confidence that your practice is in progress. If you'd like to, you can raise the left arm and then cross your left arm over your right knee. And when I'm doing that this morning, I'm going to tippy toe, so you can pick up the right heel. It makes the right knee higher, giving a potential little bit of leverage there for anyone for whom your torso is longer and your thighs are shorter. And then let's now come around to center. And we'll take the right. So those of you who are more short-waisted, bring the left up. You probably don't need to pick up your heel to make that change, but it might be enjoyable to do so. Let's take the right hand around the left shin, left hand behind, and twist. Choose to raise your right arm and cross it over. Perhaps you're going to pick up the left heel like that, so your knee is a little bit higher, giving a little more compression to the twist. When you cross your arm, if that doesn't add to your experience of the twist, then don't add it to the concept. So you can practice right now contentment with your capacity, including your limitations. And exhale around. Hello, Nakula, what good timing. And please come back to Virasana. Hi, honey. You're in time for Shavasana. How nice for me. Hi. Yeah. We're going to go to the Shavasana now. So when we go to Shavasana, I'm going to suggest that you sit in front of these two blankets. So take the legs out from Virasana, stretch the legs out, and just spend a few moments noticing the circulation going down the legs. Because you had some compression, now you have the release of that compression. And let's take a little time in Shavasana. You can lie back over both blankets. Take the top blanket and place the flat block between the two blankets so it supports your head. Go right up to the base of the skull. Curl the shoulders under. Turn your palms face up. Encourage your body to relax really deeply. So Santosa is the inner acceptance, contentment, and inner confidence that in fact we are in process. Yoga is a practice seeking progress, but not perfection. So we rebalance everything in the body, rebalancing circulation, hormones, innervation. We may come to have an internal felt sense of Santosa, and by that, it is defined from within. Your body, dropping into Shavasana, releasing moment to moment. For the possibility, your body is becoming more grounded. mind becoming more clear. The process to continue. An inner sense of appreciation, acceptance, even confidence in the process itself. Allow the process to continue about 1 more minute. So don't dissipate the process, don't get in the way. Try to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your head side to side. Bend your knees, please. Remove the block from under the blanket under your head and then roll down to your right side. And press yourself up to find your seat. As you come to your seat, Make it stable and upright, please. Practice of contentment, we are reducing the wanting mind. Please bring your right hand up for nadi shodhana. And practice balancing your inhale with your exhale. You're going to count the pace of each of those lightly and make them equal. Relax your hand back down to your lap. Practice contentment right now, Santosa. It builds our inner capacity to reduce the petty grievances, the wanting mind, the clinging or grasping nature. And for that in you, which is deeply still, not blown about by the thrashing of craving or clinging, not needing things to be different. And this quality of inner stillness, knowing it's an infusion for right now, but also has a fragrance throughout your day. To your heart. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace within us, peace amongst us, and peace in all the realms. May our practice help us to contribute to that. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Close the recording and the Facebook so we can be together.